Welcome to the Space in Between podcast, a series where we will talk about everything and anything mental performance in a bite-sized fashion.
My name is Ciana and this is
Frida,
We are both certified mental performance consultants from Ireland and
Sweden.
respectively. On this podcast, we share our knowledge and passion for all things sport and performance psychology. This includes all things mindset, exercise, sport, everyday life, and insights into how we help ourselves and others in developing our mindset.
Let's go.
We're back.
We're back. So today is, I think, a very exciting episode and special and different from the other ones that we have had. Because we have a hot shot in the studio today. Her name is Ciana.
That's me.
That is you. And really what we're going to talk about is the fact that you won the 4-wall World Handball Championships.
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into that and the tournament, how that went, obviously the mindset part of it. So I'm very excited to chat about that with you today.
Chat about it even more.
I know. I've heard enough. No, I'm joking. So this is obviously very exciting for us to talk about and also to share with you. And I'm sure you're all dying to know what goes through the mind of a world champion. But before we get into that, I suppose for people that don't know, Ciana here, she plays handball. Kind of high level, you know. And she has been very successful as a youth athlete, all the way up as a teenager and then into the senior grades. Obviously now you're one of the best. You are the best in the world as of right now in handball. So that's very exciting. You won the All-Ireland Senior Championship in 2023. And then you won the All-Ireland Doubles Senior Championship in 2024.
Yeah.
With Neve. I suppose those are two of the biggest things you have won, if you want to say it like that, biggest as a senior athlete.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the All-Ireland and the World Championships are the two most prestigious things as a 4-wall 40x20 player. Yeah, when I think about my successes, those are the things that stand out.
Check.
Yeah.
What now? Now we'll keep that to later. So with that said, let's jump into, the game and the tournament this weekend. So maybe tell us a little bit about what the Worlds actually is. For people that might not know, well, what is the Handball World?
The World Championships happen every 3 years in handball. And actually the last organised standalone World Championship was in 2018. There was a World Championship last year, 2020. Because of COVID, all the years got a bit messed up. They had to cancel and then it was rearranged for last summer, but just the open grades. So this was the first World since 2018 where they had every grade, basically.
So what does that mean with every grade?
They start at under 11s, I think, and then you have grades all the way from the underage up until the open, and then with handball, there's grades all the way up until, I'm actually not entirely sure what the oldest grade is.
I know there was for 70-year-olds, but I don't know if there's anything above that.
So last year it was just the open grades that were the World Championships, and this year they had many tournaments, or not tournaments, but levels, grades. Yeah.
And the World Championship would be hosted in different countries, not only Ireland?
So primarily going from Ireland to Canada to the US, because those are 3 of the biggest countries, and those will be the countries that can host it in terms of having the facilities close together.
Yeah.
And this was actually the first year that the 1-wall Worlds and the 4-wall Worlds were separate. So they actually had the 1-wall Worlds in August. And then 4-wall Worlds now, October and November. Usually everything is on the same week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and some people would play both.
Intense.
So yeah, it definitely it's a different type of intensity when that's going on, especially at the open level. This year it allowed for people to be able to really train with purpose for both, without having to maybe choose, although some people obviously do just focus on one or the other.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So with that said then, obviously it's a little bit different from any other tournament that we do, or like the All Ireland, where it's spaced out over a long period of time. And the World is quite intense, with everything happen in the span of a week or 4 days, or depending on what grade you're playing. So how was it to play this tournament in such a, I guess, short time span, with playing both singles and doubles?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the only tournaments, this and the US Nationals are one of the only tournaments where you play singles and doubles in the same week. Usually it's just pretty much singles competitions like this. So that definitely adds a different type of preparation that you need to do. Like, you're trying to play singles and work on your own game, but also trying to develop your game with your doubles partner. And then, I mean, it is intense, and like, not even the days when you're playing, but there's so many other games going on, and sometimes you might get distracted or drawn into like, oh, there's like so many good games happening today. So like, you nearly have to be very disciplined in like, okay, I'm focusing on, you know, playing my game, and then I need to take time to recover, because it's actually really draining to be just at the venue all the time.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah. Like, when I was younger, I definitely... And it's different when you're younger, obviously. Like, you want to experience all that and take it all in. And I still, even at senior level, like, I want to soak up the environment and experience the Worlds. But you also have to be able to take a step back and just focus on yourself and what you're going to do.
Yeah, yeah. And this nicely leads me into a question, actually. How would you say that this season, if it did, or not season, but the lead up to the Worlds, was different compared to maybe getting ready for, you know, the Irish handball season, in terms of your preparation and mindset going into this tournament?
Yeah, if I compare it to last season, so last season we started the season with the Golden Gloves, which is in Belfast. So that's a tournament run over the weekend. There's ranking points, but obviously, like I said, the Worlds and the All Irelands are the like ones that you're really focusing in on. So last year I probably I train in the gym, and like, I maintain my fitness pretty much all year round, so that's not necessarily something that I would have thought about too much last year. Like, I was just training, staying fit, and then like 2 weeks before the Golden Gloves I'd be thinking, right, let's get in the court and play some games. And I was nearly thinking about the Golden Gloves and like the Mick Kerr tournament as tournaments to help me tune up for the All Ireland series, you know? Whereas this year, with the Worlds being at the start of the season, like, I started preparing specifically for the World Championships like 3 to 4 months ago, like, in terms of my conditioning, my strength work, and my like skill work and playing handball games. So like, that was quite different for me. Like, I would definitely say that this is the most intentional I have been with preparing for a single competition. You know, like, there was no tune-up tournaments really. It was like, I want to be ready to go for the start of this year.
With what you said there, it sounds like, you know, you were getting ready to peak for this tournament.
Absolutely.
In a way, like, to play at your best, like.
Yeah.
Compared to, not saying that you don't want to play at your best when the season is longer over these tournaments leading up to the All Ireland, but then with All Ireland being, you know, one of the main things that you can win, wanting to be ready for then, but that is over like a 5-month period.
Yeah, I mean, the All Irelands are typically in March, April time, so when you start the season in September, October, I'm not necessarily worried if I underperform at the Golden Gloves, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, like, what can I work on? You can use that as data, whereas going into the Worlds, there's no time to like learn from the previous tournament. It's like, I want to do everything I possibly can to be prepared and ready to perform like the first day that this starts.
That nicely leads us into the actual Worlds then. So when you were there and after your first game, how did it feel?
I started playing on Thursday. So the World started on the Saturday, the 26th, and I started playing on, I'm not sure what day the Thursday was, but it was like 5 days later. So I was seeing that everyone was getting started and loads of people were playing. And, you know, by the time Tuesday and Wednesday came, I was like, okay, I really want to be in Dublin already. So when we got there on Wednesday, I was really excited to like just be at the venue, and finally the Worlds was starting, because like, it was a long preparation period for it.
Yeah.
And like, I definitely felt nervous before my first game. Like, I was playing at 9 a.m. on Thursday. And like, this is something that I've worked for for a considerable amount of time, like obviously the preparation phase of the previous months, but also this is something that you think about doing or set as a goal from like the last 20 years I've played this sport, you know?
Yeah.
So then it was like, oh, today is the day that it's getting started. So there was those nerves at the start. But then once I get into the game and I'm just focusing on the game, it's just like nearly rhythmic sometimes. So, you know, I really enjoyed like getting on the court and getting it going.
You know, this actually reminded me when you talked about nerves there, and that it's been such a long preparation time, and you know, something you wanted for since you started playing handball as a kid, you know, that you dream about this, and those nerves. So I remember when the draw came out for the Worlds, and you were having like not a little breakdown, but all of a sudden you were like, oh my God, I am so nervous, and you had so many thoughts, and your brain was going all over the place. So I think we should give people a little bit of insight about what happened there, and I would like you to get your journal actually, and share your thoughts.
Yeah, I remember the draws came out as the Worlds got closer, and I also think it was a little bit interesting for me because in the work that we do and the individuals that I work one-to-one with, it's a lot of handball players who would share with me how they are feeling about the upcoming competition. So like, you know, they would be, as the competition got closer, feeling more nervous. And like, it was such an interesting thing because I had to like really hold it like I feel the exact same way. But I also found that that work that I've done with those people, like it nearly helped me too to like help them handle those nerves and those thoughts. So then it was nearly like a reminder to myself, like it's okay to feel this way, and there's things you can do to help yourself.
So for all the people that works with Ciana on their mindset, make sure to get some commission now.
Yeah, you're actually helping me. Yeah, so on the 2nd of October, I wrote about why I'm so nervous, and then I also thought about why I'm excited. So I kind of reframed the nerves. So I reminded myself that I care about this, and you know, my goal was to win the competition. So with that comes an element of nerves because you don't actually know what's going to happen. I wrote that it's important to me. And then I wrote that I was nervous about getting more nervous as the competition got closer. And then in reframing that to excitement, I reminded myself that this is exactly what I want to do. You know, like I chose to enter this competition and to train for it. This is an opportunity to achieve something I've worked for because of this event. You know, like the World's, even in terms of like the media coverage and stuff, like it's made out to be a bigger event. Like at the end of the day, it is just a handball competition as well. But because of everything around it and the history with it, and it only happens every 3 years, you know, I was super excited to get to play. And this was my second championship at open grade. I played my first one in 2018, just back from my ACL injury. So like that felt like a completely different experience. Like I was nearly happy to just play. Whereas now I had the chance to actually train properly for it. Yeah, and then I just wrote some things that I want to remember. The first thing I wrote is, some people might find this interesting, but I said it really doesn't matter. And that's actually something I'll remind myself of a lot. Like, you know, it's funny. I won the Worlds on Sunday, and today, like, I went to work. And your life is just exactly the same, you know? So, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, the people close to me are super excited for me, but also they also would have been fine had I not won, you know? I wrote, I'll be the same person regardless of the outcome. I love playing handball. I'm capable. I can perform. It's another game, another competition. It's a simple sport. Roll out every shot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember when you were writing that down and with all those thoughts and, you know, like doing basically what we talk about doing with people.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it's pretty convenient to have you by my side to be able to sport psych me when these things happen.
That's pretty much what happened there, because she was just chatting. I could feel it, and I was like, okay, we're gonna pull out the notebook,
channel this energy.
Yeah, let's make it fly information. So yeah, that it was just an interesting moment, you know. I think probably for you and for me, because you had been very calm until that point.
Yeah.
And not saying that you know you weren't calm anyway, but that was the first time the nerves really like hit.
Yeah, I think when the draw comes out, it's like, oh, this is actually happening.
It's very real then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So then on the topic of nerves then, going back to the worlds there and those days that you were playing, was there a moment before the final, or not right before the final, but like all the games you played up until that point, was there a moment there where you felt more nervous? And how did you handle that?
There was definitely moments throughout the whole weekend, I guess, from Thursday through to Sunday, where I would feel nervous, like, you know, especially the night before a game, because that's typically when, you know, we all think about everything that's ever happened in life. No, I'm joking, but that, like, you know, throughout the day you'll keep yourself busy, but then when you're going to sleep is when the thoughts, you can have them. So like I would feel nervous, and before my semi-final that night, like I felt nervous and I was doing some breathing exercises, and then like the same thing on the Saturday night before going into the final. Like, yeah, I felt nervous, but then it was interesting, like on the Sunday morning I felt nervous, but I also felt very calm. Like I nearly felt calmer going into the final than I did going into the semi-final. And I'm not entirely sure like what the reason for that was, but I felt nervous but like composed on that Sunday morning.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely looked composed and you looked very focused and ready when you were playing the final, that's for sure. So, you know, sometimes, you know, you might see that, oh, it's a little bit of nerves, so maybe shots are not going the way that they typically would or whatever.
Yeah.
But both of you came out swinging, like.
Yeah, like I felt like in the semi-final, you know, I was playing my doubles partner, Niamh Heffernan, and she went up 5-1. And I just remember those first 5 points feeling like a bit shaky. Just my shots weren't exactly what I would have wanted. But even then I was like, it's okay. You know, the first few shots, sometimes you can kind of help settle the nerves.
Yeah.
But then on Sunday, yeah, both of us just started the game off like, right, we're here to play.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah.
You know, it's great that the both of you, from where I was sitting anyway, looked like both of you are ready to play.
Yeah.
It made it a very exciting game, for better and for worse. Worse for the people watching. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the actual final. So we talked right now a little bit about, you know, how you felt very composed and you felt calm going into the final. So what were you telling yourself, you know, before you were gonna step into the court and start the game?
Like immediately before.
Yeah, like warming up and leading into it.
Yeah, so I always warm up before I go onto the court. So during that time, I really do my best to just focus on like actually doing the warm up.
Yeah.
And then when thoughts of the game come into my head, like I'm just saying kind of key words to myself, like, you know, I am capable, or I can perform, or, you know, go for your kills, move your feet. Like it's more so like power phrases is what we call them.
Yeah.
And giving myself instructions, like reminding myself of what I'm going to do. And then a big one for me is to stay composed. Just take your deep breaths. There's no rush with anything, you know, like I can take my time, obviously when it's appropriate. So just focusing on those things, as like obviously your mind kind of can drift to other things. So just kind of bringing it back to those key things for me. And then as I get ready to go on the court, I'm literally just trying to focus on what I'm doing, like putting on my gloves, making sure I have everything that I will need ready and by the court. So for my timeouts, I want to have like my liquids, and maybe if there's something I need to fuel during the game, I'll have that there. And then I just get on the court and focus on finishing my warm-up.
Something that you mentioned there that I think if people were watching, they might have noticed, or maybe they didn't think about it, but a way to stay, like we talk about the breath a lot, right? And you mentioned that as well, using the breath before to be calm and stuff like that. Something that it's very visible, especially this game, before you served every time, was that you took a deep breath and exhaled. Walk us through kind of what does that do for you? Why do you do that?
Well, firstly, I always do the exact same routine when I'm going to serve, because it, like, routines remind us that, you know, I'm doing a thing that I have done thousands of times before. Like, I've served the ball so many times. So, like, I make sure to do the exact same routine every time. And then, like, taking the breath, especially in an environment like this, sometimes there's a lot of energy from your opponent. Like, maybe it was just a big rally. Or there's definitely moments at the weekend when the crowd, I was very aware at times, like the crowd cheering for me or for someone else or just for both players, that it was a good play.
Yeah.
Taking the breath is a moment where it's okay, like there might have been a lot of energy and emotion there. So now it's okay, deep breath in, and then I let go of all of that and I'm just going to focus on, I'm going to do a power serve down the right. It allows me to let go of whatever just happened and to focus on what I'm about to do right now.
Yeah. So bringing yourself back to the present, essentially.
Yeah.
With those things. Like we say, the breath, it's powerful.
Yeah, and I used it in the timeouts as well. Like during my timeouts, I had my coach, Mike Wells, would be there to offer some advice, or maybe if I had thoughts, like I can ask him what he thought about maybe changing something up or trying this particular thing. But then at the end of every time out, I would always have a few seconds myself and take a few deep breaths. And it's this exact same thing. Like, it doesn't matter what happened in the previous points. It's just, okay, I'm going to execute exactly what I'm going to do next. So it just is a way for me to stay present and keep my mind clear.
Yeah, love that answer. With that answer, then let's talk, go a little deeper into that final. So you won the first game. How was that?
I mean, like you said, both of us started. Well, I can't speak for my opponent Martina, obviously, but it started like fairly back and forth. Like nobody kind of got a few points and went ahead. It was like we were kind of going back and forth from the start. Like it was quite equal. And then we were both super strategic with our timeouts, actually. And when we rewatched it, even the commentators were saying, every time someone took a timeout, they were able to gain a little bit more momentum again.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. And like, obviously you want to use your timeout strategically, so that was good. But like the first game for me went really well. Like I felt like I executed my game plan, plays to my strengths. I was killing the ball a lot. Like I was playing quite aggressively, but also like not trying to force things. And obviously I made mistakes in there as well, but I was able to compose myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the first game, no complaints.
No. So then let me ask you this. We're going to talk a little bit more about the second game and kind of what happened there in a second. But before that, so going out, I guess at halftime, would you call it halftime, maybe? Did your mind wander to like, oh my God, if I win one more game, I'm a world champ?
No, actually, at that moment, I wasn't thinking about winning at all. Like, obviously, every point you play, you want to win, but I wasn't thinking like, if I win, I'm going to be the world champion, which has happened to me before. You'll have to listen to the other podcasts.
That's why I brought it up.
No, I was very present and just focusing on, let's keep pushing. Yeah. Let's keep doing what I'm doing and keep trying to perform at this level. I didn't feel like my mind went too far into the future.
Okay, nice. So then here is the interesting game now for the people that are cheering for Ciana. The second game, myself included. This is not about me today, but let me tell you that I was a bit nervous watching this. You started off very strong in the second game, and you pulled ahead.
Yeah.
So for most people maybe watching in, like, if you know handball, you know it can swap very fast.
Yeah.
But like I was sitting there like, okay, like we're getting close. This is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember exactly what the lead was.
I was up 12-4 in the second game.
Was it 12-4 or 12-6?
12-4 in a game to 15.
Yeah, it was a good amount of points anyway.
Yeah.
And then Martina started to come back.
Yeah.
And eventually she went up 14-12.
Yeah.
And then you came back 14-14.
Yeah.
So talk us through that. So being up 12-4.
Yeah.
What's happening here? And then especially, I think the most, I'm not going to speak for you, but what's really interesting here in terms of mindset is you went from 12-4 to all of a sudden now, well, not all of a sudden, it is 14-12 to Martina, and she is serving for that game.
Yeah, I think it is interesting to think about. Obviously, it's great to gain momentum like that and to be up 12-4. But even like, I think other people might have been more stressed about that than I was, like her coming back, because even in the first game, like Martina was gaining momentum, like her serves are really strong. If she got a quick run with serves, she was able to gain like 3 points pretty quickly, and then I would take a time out. So like if you think about that, you know, it's not like she went immediately from 4 to 14.
No.
It was in and out a little bit, but yeah, I just couldn't break past the 12 points. There was a couple of hand errors, but like I don't think my performance dipped necessarily. I think Martina was quite clinical in those moments, which says a lot about like it takes a type of person to be down 12-4 and to come back to 14-12. And yeah, obviously it's disappointing, and I have said this to you already, like had I not won the game in the end, I probably would feel really disappointed about that second game and having such a lead. But I'm quite proud of the fact that, you know, she went up 14-12. I was able to get back in, get to 14, and I'm still a bit sickened when I think about that match point, because it's easy to say, had I done whatever, but I definitely had the opportunity to finish the game.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And I've said to you, like, at 14-14, when I went in to serve for the game, there was such energy from the crowd, and I really felt that. And again, I took my deep breath, and I felt focused on my serve. I don't know if that contributed to, like, I definitely hit the ball a bit harder than I might have in the previous rally. So yeah, that's obviously things that we can learn from that too. Like, you know, yeah, I used my breath well and I stayed composed, but there was moments where it was difficult to do that. But I think one of the things I'm most proud of from the whole game is some might say that I should have won the second game.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't. So I lost the second game, but I was able to like just stay composed. Mindset didn't change going into the tiebreaker. I knew if I wasn't even thinking about this, but if I could perform how I had been performing, like, you know, it's still there for the taking. So like going into the tiebreaker, I was literally thinking like, okay, we're starting again. It's 0-0. Yeah. Like both of us have an opportunity to win.
Yeah. And it's, I'm glad you kind of brought it this way, because I think, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I think that when you're up 12-4, right? And then as a spectator watching, and then it wasn't just like a straight through, you know, you were in and out, whatever, but then eventually ended up being 14-12 to Martina, and then 14-14, and then, you know, you had your opportunity to win the game, and then in the end she won that game. So then you're going into a tiebreaker. For a lot of people, they're probably thinking, what's Ciana thinking right now?
Yeah.
How will she be able to keep going? Because that must be sickening.
Yeah.
Because for us watching, for me watching, cheering you on, I obviously was feeling very unwell at this point, and I was like, oh, we were so close, you know. So it's interesting that you say, you know, my mindset didn't change at all. I was focused at the task at hand, and, you know, you were thinking that, all right, we're starting over.
Yeah.
11 more points.
I mean, the way I think about that is like similar to, you know, people who get annoyed at themselves, and that's clearly evident after they make a mistake. It's like, this isn't the time to be disappointed that I didn't win the second game. Like, it doesn't matter. Or this isn't the time to be annoyed at myself about a shot that I just missed, because that then is what's going to impact your performance going into the tiebreaker, by being disappointed.
Yeah.
You know? But like losing that second game, it didn't impact the outcome of my World Championships.
No.
But it might have if I had been like, oh, I'm so sickened, I had a chance to win and I didn't, I'm such an idiot, oh, probably not going to win now. Like, that's going to have a huge impact on my performance compared to, I was just like, okay, it's 0-0.
Yeah,
you know, like we were both in the exact same position going into the tiebreaker. You know, even listening to the commentary, and I just want to say the commentators did a great job, but it's just interesting to hear other people's opinions when the game is going on.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they're saying Martina has the momentum now. She's come back from 14-4 or 12-4, which one might say is true, but not in my head. Like, where's the momentum? We're going in 0-0. We're both in the exact same position. Do you know? But it would have been momentum had I been like, oh, she came back from 12-4. Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I mean, I think it makes sense. You'd have to let us know if it makes sense, listeners. Yeah, but that's very interesting because of even, you know, what you said with what the commentator says. Oh, she has the momentum now, etc., etc. And obviously, nobody has any idea what's going on in your head, what's going on in her head.
Yeah.
And vice versa, right? So that's kind of what I meant with, you know, being a spectator we might be thinking those things. Because that, I mean, also personally, I was feeling nervous, you
Yeah.
know? So, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely think when I'm watching people, I have those thoughts too.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, this is obviously I think about things this way as well because of what we do, like talking about sports psychology all the time. I think it's fascinating. So then when I think about my own thoughts, I think it's even more fascinating, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's fast forward to serving for the title in tiebreaker.
The first time for the, okay.
No. The second time. So obviously the tiebreaker, you know, was going a little bit back and forward, and then it was 10-8 to you.
Well, the interesting thing is in the tiebreaker, I was also up 10-4.
Were you? I don't remember that.
And then Martina came back to 8.
Yeah, that's true. As you can see, I blacked out moments of this game.
Yeah, so I actually served for the game at 10-4, and then she got me out. She got
That's right.
4 points.
Yeah.
And then I served for the game again. At that moment when I was serving for the game the second time, I was really locked in on like my serve. And like I'm not necessarily thinking this is championship point. Like I'm thinking this is another rally.
Yeah.
I definitely, before taking my breath, I definitely had that thought of game ball.
Yeah.
You know, like one more. And that's why I'm even more purposeful with taking the breath. Those things add pressure. Thinking, if I win this point, I'm going to be the world champion. That adds a lot more pressure than focus on your serve.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I did have those thoughts. It's game ball, just one more. And then I take my deep breath and I'm just doing everything I can to focus on the serve. You know, and like assuming someone's going to return. So being ready for that.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting that you say that. And you know, the way you looked, so from someone, being me, that have watched you play now for many years, and obviously I saw you win the All-Ireland in 2023 as well, you had a very similar energy about you. You know, very composed, very, you know, cool, calm and collected. And it also makes me think about the Nationals, where you had won, it was the US Nationals, right? The first game?
Yeah. In 2019?
Yeah, 21-2 or whatever. And then your mind was like, oh my God, I'm going to win. I'm going to do this. So it's a very big difference from standing there on the line about to serve, being like, okay, it is game ball.
Yeah.
Breathe. Here we go.
Yeah, I think the difference between 2019 and now is I can have those thoughts, oh my God, I'm going to do the thing. And I'm able to bring it back to let's focus on the task.
Yeah.
Whereas at the time in 2019, I had the inability to do that. So I just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
To put it lightly.
This is true. Yeah, we have talked about it before, I think, in another episode.
I'm sure we have.
Yeah. It's a really good example of
I know.
your mind and focus and those things. But anyway, bringing it back to the moment of victory. So what was going through your mind the moment you realized that, oh God, I did it?
It's like such a blur because it just happens. Like 1 minute you're playing and the next minute the game is over. I definitely felt an element of relief because of all the things that had happened during the game.
Yeah.
I was so close to winning in the second game, and then I served for the game twice in the tiebreaker. It definitely was like a moment of, you know, like, it's over, and I did it. I knelt down, obviously, well, if people saw the game, they would know this, but like, I did kneel down after I had won, and like, I just, I mean, it's a lot of emotion because you have like trained for something for so long, and you don't necessarily start playing a sport because you want to, like, you don't think about winning the senior championship when you're 7 years old playing for fun, but as you go up through the grades you definitely do think about that.
Yeah.
And when you commit to training for handball, and especially as an adult, you know, I used to play football in Camogie, and I made a decision when I was like 20, 21, like, no, like, this is what I want to focus on, being the best I can in handball, and you don't know what that's going to lead to. So then to be able to achieve your dream, if that's it, it's a pretty surreal moment. And yeah, I definitely had to wipe away a few tears.
Yeah. You beautifully wrapped it up there, because I was going to ask a question, like, how does it feel to achieve something that you have worked for a long time?
I feel, I've said this to you already, but like, it's an interesting thing because I feel very proud of myself. Not just because I won on Sunday, but because like I feel proud of all the preparation I did for this tournament and the discipline that took. Anyone who plays handball will know that to get better, it requires a lot of individual training.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is calling you to go to the court, to go to the gym, to work on the psychological aspect of the sport. Nobody is making me do any of the training that I've been doing. But I committed to that. I set a goal and I worked towards it. And I didn't know what the outcome of that work would be. I do feel really proud of everything that I put into getting a performance over the week, and obviously it's cherry on top when you actually can say, like, I won. You know, like on that day I was the best player.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel proud.
I feel proud too. Yeah, I mean, as someone that has watched you, well, for the past few years, but especially leading into the Worlds now, you know, it's been very cool to see all the work that you put in and all the different aspects, and then
and I mean,
getting over the line in the end, you know.
There's been moments in my senior handball career, like I remember in 2018 at the Worlds in Minneapolis, I'd just come back from my ACL, and I remember being in the show court and I was like, I can't wait for this game to end, because I just felt like completely I didn't even necessarily belong in that. I was playing semi-final against Katrina Casey, and you know, that's a pretty bleak feeling as a player.
Yeah.
So I feel like, geez, it's been 6 years since then. But now playing in Croke Park in the show court in front of a full house and feeling like I'm performing really well is like, it's like the opposite of that, you know. That's like everything you set out to do. And like, I don't know, Sunday was like a dream day as a handball player, because Croke Park is so cool and I was so excited to play in front of that crowd, because that's the goal, you know?
Yeah.
To do those things. So yeah, I had fun.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here smiling because you look so happy right now talking about this. So that's amazing. Before we start wrapping it up, I have a few more questions. But something that I wanted to ask you was, you know, so 2018 Worlds, that was right before you went to Mankato to study sports psychology.
Yes.
And then 2020, obviously graduated, and now it's been many years of sports psychology.
Yeah.
For yourself, working with others. In what way do you think this has changed your handball? Or maybe not even your handball, but I suppose the way that you approach handball and playing.
Firstly, I think that tearing my ACL changed my mindset a lot. Because before that, I would have said that, you know, we talk about athletic identity, basically like a sports person was all that I was, and that's how I saw myself. So when I did my ACL, I suddenly had time to put into other things and to see like, oh, I actually am okay even if I can't play sport. So even during the rehab process, yeah, you're working to get back to sport, but I was also like, you know what, like I can live a happy life without sports. So that was huge in seeing myself as more than an athlete, and that kind of took away a layer of pressure associated with my performance. So it wasn't like I have to do well in sports to be something. It was like, sport is just something I do. So there was that first, which was huge for me. And then studying sports psychology, like, I won't say changed my life. It probably did, just because the whole experience and going to America and everything I experienced there. But it definitely changed the way I think about sport and the work that I do every day with people. And like, yeah, you just, like I said earlier that I had written down, it doesn't matter. And like, that's actually something that I'll probably say to myself quite often, because sometimes I can get wrapped up in like wanting to win or achieve something so much that like it adds a lot of pressure to it. So I think me telling myself it doesn't matter is like, it helps me take that pressure away. And I felt like before, like a few years ago, oh, the more I think about how much I want to win, like that's going to actually help me win. But then when you learn and you do sports psychology, you learn like that actually adds so much more pressure. And that's just one example of a way that my mindset has changed.
Yeah.
But like there's so many other things, like using the breath, you know. I mean, why would I ever thought of doing that before? Like I didn't. Or, you know, I finally started to think about, oh, maybe it's not helpful to give out to myself for 30 seconds after I make a mistake. You know, stuff that seems really obvious to me now.
Yeah.
But I had never ever thought about the impact of those things.
Yeah.
And not just in handball, but in everyday life as well. So I would say that sports psychology and learning everything we have learned and helping other people apply that has really had a positive impact on my performances.
Yeah, and you know the reason why I asked that is because I think it's obviously I know you very well, so that growth has been very interesting to see. And then the reason why I asked this is because throughout this whole podcast episode, I think that you have said those things, you know, and it showed in your performance on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like all of those things that kind of came together and the player and person that you are now. And like, you know, that's also why we talked about some of those things with the breath and, you know, when you went into the tiebreaker and you had been so close to winning the game, like how did you handle that? And the way you answer that is, you can see that growth when you kind of see the bigger picture from 2018 to today.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's very interesting.
That's my world medal.
Yeah, that's it.
Not the handball.
No. So, okay, almost there. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to wrap it up.
People are getting a treat today.
I know, it's a long one, but I just figured, you know.
We could go on as well.
I know, so then I'm going to try to wrap it up now. So I guess, what now? What does this mean for your future? Do you have new goals?
Now that I won the Worlds, I am a better person, a better handball player, a better sports psychology consultant. No, you would think. But, I mean, it's such an interesting thing. Like, you achieve the biggest goal you could set in your sport, and then you're like, well, I have a tournament in 2 weeks, so... like I do. I have the Golden Gloves next weekend. And I mean, yeah, I still have goals. And I mean, every competition I go into, like, I want to win. Like, that is my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. Like, I'm going to keep training, keep trying to get better at what I'm doing in handball. You know, this last year I've been doing a lot of coaching with handball players via the physical side and the mental side. And I want to keep getting better and growing there and keep growing within sports psychology. So like there's a lot of things I want to do. Just I always want to become, like, I guess, a better version of myself, if you will.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity I can. Like to see, not even become a better version of myself. I think a better way to put it is like to see what I'm capable of in things that I do. And I think that motivates me a lot. And if we're talking about handball specifically, like there's always things to improve. Like I already think about things on Sunday that I can improve.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that is a frustrating and beautiful thing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't say that you're going to win 7 world titles just to beat Paul Brady.
Wow, what age would I have to be?
I'm joking.
No, I have a photo with Paul from 2009, and I was wearing my little bandana, and what age was I in 2009? 13. And Paul had already won 3 world titles. Like,
that's so funny.
I just think that, yeah.
Yeah.
We could do another podcast about that, but anyway.
Yeah, no.
Guest appearance.
Yeah, that's it. We'll have to make
Ooh,
that happen. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? All right, so I guess one of the last things I want to ask you is, how do you mentally shift from something like this, achieving winning the Worlds, to in 2 weeks going to play the Golden Gloves and starting your Irish handball season, I suppose?
Yeah, I'm still figuring. No, I'm joking. It is Thursday, so I played on Sunday.
You basically have a week.
Yeah, we're recording this on Thursday.
Yeah.
So this week I've been really in recovery mode, feeling like, I mean, you're such a high, and like you train so much beforehand that the last few days I haven't really wanted to at all, which is fine. Like I trained a little bit today. But yeah, just help the body recover, help the mind recover, rest. Like you've been so focused on something for so long. And then, I mean, it is nice to go into next weekend. Like the Golden Glove's always a great tournament. Because I've done so much training already. Like next week, I'll just kind of play around a little bit. And you know, I guess there's less pressure in a way, or you know, I haven't been thinking about this tournament as much, so it'll be nice to play in that environment as well.
You know what I think is interesting with that answer, and obviously I don't know what other people might think, but you know, obviously you just came off this tournament, whatever, there's another tournament starting, so maybe for some they're like, well, why would you stop training for a few days or whatever, you know, like you gotta keep the ball rolling, gotta get back into the court, gotta keep training.
If you don't play for 3 days, you're gonna be terrible.
Yeah. So I think that's an important takeaway too. Like you said, many great things in this podcast, but, you know, allowing yourself that time to recover, both for your body but also mentally.
Yeah.
Because you've been exhausted. You know, like think about the Worlds and not only how physically demanding it is, but also how mentally demanding it is. So giving your body what it needs and kind of listening to that. So yeah, you did a little bit of working out today, you moved a little bit, that felt all right. But not getting stressed about that I have to get back into the court.
Yeah, like I've spent like the last 3 to 4 months like optimizing things so that I can train well, so that I can play well at the Worlds. So yeah, I mean, you definitely need to let your body and mind recover after those things. Like otherwise you'll go into next weekend still feeling tired. Yeah. You know, whereas if you give yourself a few days, help your mind and body, then you can go into next weekend feeling good again.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that said now, we're going to wrap it up.
We'll see you in 3 years for the next post-Worlds podcast.
That's it. Hopefully with a similar outcome.
Frida's already started training for 2027.
Oh yeah, geez, that's another topic. That's another topic. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your thoughts and experiences about, you know, the Worlds, and such an honor to sit here and talk to a world champion.
Thank you for letting me share all of my thoughts.
Yeah, and you know, I hope that our listeners got some cool takeaways from this. The way you speak about things, you know, you speak about it very well and very clearly. So I hope that people can take something from what you have spoken about and bring it into their own training or performances. And as always, and just as Ciana is doing, remember to keep using the space in between.
Oh yeah.